Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Jam and Cheese Show. Joined by Cheese again, fresh in off the win against Canberra. But mate, last week's viral video of you.
Oh mate, I shouldn't have done it. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one. It's just because like, if you don't know context, you don't know anything. And it was a 30-second snippet.
I'm talking about a different video.
Oh, what viral video?
The fucking one where you've got your cap on. When you were sat there.
My life, man. There's a couple of viral videos. Couple of viral videos.
Yeah, man, I don't give a shit about that. I know that videos are, mate. You don't need to talk to me about things taken out of context. I know it, mate. Like whatever. Who cares? I was talking about when you had your cap on backwards.
Yeah, same.
It was absolutely insane. I'm not on Instagram. I've seen the video on Instagram, and for our listeners, that. The camera angle didn't do it justice from this angle that I've got at you.
Yeah, like, you're a meter away.
I'm closer. It was insane how, like, nonchalantly you were just like, oh, you don't do this? Like, no, I don't wear a cap that way. But
I seen one of the comments was like, I can't believe he said you don't do this. Mate, I didn't realise how bloody ugly I looked.
Mate. It was brilliant.
The video, a few people screenshotted and sent it to me. I was like, mate, I didn't know I was that ugly.
I reckon you've just got to keep going with it, Cheese. Like, I reckon you got to own that.
Honestly, you'll see me do it like a couple, but like not like that.
You just flick your nose a little bit.
Nose.
Well, mate, I think I
might be a little trigger. I don't know what it is.
Like a tick, almost. Yeah, like it is nice getting your nose. At the tip of your nose, like just playing with it a little bit.
I'm not allowed to do that.
Yeah. But I think I was just more in shock. I just looked down at the rundown or like at the question and then just looked up. And I was just in a bit of a state of shock. Unexpected. But for me, that's the only video worth talking about. not that other bit of nonsense. But it's been a big week. Origin teams are in. So
I missed that. So
I love that you just
we had a big chat before this too.
No, that was the only video that I wanted to talk about. But Origin teams are in. Want to get your reaction on a couple of things. First off, New South Wales, your man Tedesco. They've gone with Edwards over him. What's your initial reaction?
Well, obviously, playing against Teddy, playing with Teddy, I'd pick Teddy. But at the same time, my thoughts are like they're interchangeable. Like either one you pick is going to do a job. I just think the experience and the fact that Teddy's been there and as the captain, he probably didn't deserve to be shunned on the first game. If he didn't perform in the first game, maybe New South Wales didn't lose. I think. That's probably the route I'd prefer to see, where they'd go Edwards the second game if New South Wales don't win. But Madge said he was picking on form. He's picked a few players that are surprising, and that's one of them. But credit to him, he did pick on form. Edwards has probably been one of the best players in the comp at the moment. But I think Teddy, like he gave a case. Like he's been playing unreal football. Like on the weekend, he was unreal.
Yeah.
And, it's sad for him. But on the positive note, Teddy gets to play with us against Cowboys, who will be quite depleted. Looking at the Queensland side, so it'll be unusual for him. That's for sure. He hasn't been in the I guess day-to-day football. Around Origin period for about 8 years now. So,
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I was surprised. I was. I think, because he's the captain, because he knows so much about Origin. Obviously, Dylan Edwards, he deserves his spot. He does. He couldn't do anything more. Like a lot of people would likely say that Edwards should have been in the team last series. He was playing so well, and that's fine. I understand that argument. I'm not going to argue against that because they're valid points. I just think, for me, with Tedesco's experience and the way he's performed after he got so many questions towards the back end of the year, that would have been my personal choice. But again, there's no right or wrong choice here. These are two amazing fullbacks that both make incredibly strong cases to play for this state. And look, I think Dylan Edwards will do an amazing job. Like, we spoke off air about the meters per minute and just Edwards, how fit this person is. And he'll be amazing. There's other, I think, from a New South Wales perspective, there's a couple of other guys in the team. You're like, there's things to talk around there. One, Zach Lomax has been named on the wing. I personally I'm still of the thought that Zach Lomax's best position is centre. Now, people get so off you for that. I'm personally, that's just my personal opinion. I know Zach, I think he's better in the centres than he is on the wing. But I've got to give him credit because he competes on absolutely everything. The way he's handled this positional switch, moving clubs, he just competes on absolutely everything. So, but again, so you've got one person that I think their best position is the centre, playing on the wing, and then somebody who I think's best position is wing, playing in the centre, in Joey Suolihi.
Yeah.
Because he's playing on the wing for you guys as well, so he's going to move from wing to centre.
Well, he's been playing centre for the most part of the year.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But
you've got.
But his best games have been on the wing.
Yeah.
Like he's changed in and out with injuries and all that. But I think if you have a look at his games, his best games have been on the wing. But he's been playing good footy, both sides. I find it's a strange one, but it's going to be an aerial threat.
Yeah.
On that side of the field, I'm guessing they're going to have to put Coates there, and I don't know what side Coates plays on or what side they're playing. But they're going to have to do something there because they're going to be kicking that way.
Well, I was just about to say it'd be Coates or Cobbo, but it's not. Cobbo's on the bench, but we'll get to Queensland in a bit. Big shout out, Cameron McInnes has earned this spot. Like, I spent so much time with Cam when I was at the Dragons. One of the, if not the best leaders I've ever been with. Just the way he plays each and every week, he deserves this spot. And I think he'd be 29 or 30. It's been a long time coming. I was there at the Dragons in 18 when I think Fittler had a decision to make between Cam McInnes and Damien Cook at hooker, and there was not much in it at all. They went with Cookie. Cam was, bitterly disappointed. I sort of felt that, but he just went about his job, and I think most people thought that opportunity had passed him by. But it's a great lesson to anybody. If you keep going at things, it can go your way. You've just got to go and make it happen. Don't, feeling sorry for yourself or having a positive mindset isn't going to do anything. Positive action, which is exactly what Cam McInnes did, and I'm so happy for him. Like, genuinely so happy for him. I'm happy for Zach as well because I had a bit to do with, obviously played Zach a teammate as well, but so happy for Cam.
No, and you're so right. He's deserved this position, and he's probably the same as Edwards. He's probably been playing good enough footy in the last 5 or 6 years of his career to be knocking on the door of a New South Wales squad, and he's landed himself in a good team where he's been able to, I guess, be more looked at, and like he's shining in that team. And from reports, like everything I've heard, reports like I'm a damn journo. Oh God. From what I've heard from Nico and players that have played with him, Dale, like the training as well. It's
insane.
infectious, that kind of thing. And it's only a week camp, But if you bust your ass for a week and like people respect you for your effort you put in. Like you can tell by the way you talk about Cam there that you highly respect him because of the effort he put in every game and the effort he put in every training session. That builds trust amongst teams, and I think Cam McInnes is a really good pick. And even the starting side, that's, to push someone out like Isaiah Yeo, that's no easy feat. And I'm really happy for him as well. And maybe it had something to do with me knocking on his door at 6 a.m, but
probably,
I don't know. I was just testing that mental ability. I was trying to wake him up, make him miss his flight, but he's still there early. So
he's still got there. Yeah. You played dummy half. Reece Robson named at 9, which means no Happy Coruscant. Was that a surprise to you? Because you've got big raps on Happy, don't you?
Yeah, it was a surprise to me. But that's no knock on Reece Robson. I think he's probably been one of the best hookers in the comp for a little bit. At least top 5. And he gets his opportunity. It might be a little telltale on the type of football or the game style that New South Wales want to play it. The way they've picked their team, that looks like they want to bash the front door down.
Yeah, absolutely.
With Joey Sawali, great backfield carrier. Brian Tall, great backfield carrier. Payne Haas. Then you got Reece Robson, who will take every opportunity to run on quick play the balls. I think that's the route they're going to go. And
do you reckon Robson's probably a better defender than Coruscant? That's probably for me looking at it. That I reckon Maguire sacrificed Appy's deception around the ruck and the ability to get points. That he's looking at going, I don't need as much as that as what I need. Someone that's going to defend. And also probably Coruscant, he can play 80, but he's not like a every week 80-minute hooker. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like he can, but then with McInnes there, he can.
It doesn't help when you're when you're playing with a team that doesn't control the ball much.
No, true.
But I think my opinion would be yes. I think he's a better tackler than Happy Coruscant. But I think defending is different. Like there's reading plays. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's the ability to put line speed on when probably, just off your intuition. I think Happy Coruscant's got better intuition on defending, but as far as slowing the ruck, I think the tackling capabilities of Reece Robson definitely better.
Big shout out to Jake Zborovic as well, named captain. Obviously, Tedesco not in. Jake, is there a more likeable guy in the game at the moment? I don't know. But, mate, you spoke about something there about New South Wales plan. The bench of Isaiah Yeo, Spencer Leniu, Hudson Young, and Ola Kawatu. No prizes for guessing where they're going. Yeah. They are going through the front door. And even people like Payne Haas and Jake and Cam and the edge back rowers, they're not going to need to play the same number of minutes that they usually play. So Jake will knock out 80 for Manly quite consistently. Yeah. They're not going to need him to do that. They just want fresh bodies repeatedly just coming off the back fence. So you might reduce your game time by 30% or a third, but we just want your output to be high intensity. And obviously State of Origin, you need to do that anyway, but don't worry about minutes. Just worry about being effective. I think that's the plan of Michael Maguire.
It's dangerous to think that you could have Payne Haas, Ola Kawatu, Angus Crichton, Spencer Leniu on there at the same time. That's a scary look at a team. And if you ever look at Queensland side, I think we'll get to it soon, but they're not very big.
No.
There's a lot of workers in there, but they're not very big at all.
No.
So it's I think it's a big test, this game one for Billy Slater and the Queensland team.
Yeah. Spencer Leniu gets his spot. I don't know if there's a better impact player in the game.
No,
the way he comes off that kick-off carry.
He's a hooker's dream, and Reece Robson's going to...
Plenty of cash.
He's a dummy half stream. He's a dummy half stream. And I think Reece Robson's going to find that out.
Yeah.
I figured it out on the weekend. I hadn't played with him for a while, and that game, he come off the bench. I think his first carry fell straight through the line of Canberra.
Skilled,
and then he ran straight over Miss Smithies. But he is a mongrel dog, of a bloke. Like, chill as off the field, but on that field, he's like Jared. Like, Jared is the most selfless, nice, compassionate guy. And then on the field, he just turns into this absolute fuckwit.
But yeah.
And Spencer's got that dog in him, and I think you need that dog and when you're in the Origin.
Well, also, if it gets a bit feisty, Spencer isn't bothered if he's got an invitation to party, he'll just gate crash.
Yeah.
So, like, if it's gonna...
The Dane Gagai and Matt Burden fight's not going to be a lot different.
It is, because I think Queen... And with State of Origin, people don't like to say this, but there's a dark art to these type of games. And that game you're talking about, I think Queensland bullied New South Wales. Now, with a guy with a bench like that, Len Yu Young, Ola Kawatu, they ain't going to get bullied.
No. And I think Madge knows that. I think he knows what... It's similar to the Kiwis team. Our team is based off our forward pack. And I think he's taken that a bit in. I wonder how the training sessions will be.
He makes you train at
he makes you train hard, man. Real hard. Maybe New South Wales need it, maybe. But it's about accepting it. It's not about like, oh, mate, Madge is making you do... Like, at my first Kiwis tour is similar to that. Like, you're like, mate, this guy it's just a tour like that. He's absolutely rinsing us. But then once you accept it, it's like, yeah, there's a reason why we're doing this, and it's because we haven't been where we need to be as a team. And I think if he goes in with that mentality and everyone accepts the fact that New South Wales have had the better side for the last 4 or 5 years and they haven't won all the series, I think New South Wales are in for a big one.
The more I think about it, the more I'm liking this New South Wales side, you know. Like, I really
he tried to have a little side bet and he laughed at me.
Yeah, I did. But on to Queensland team. On to the Queensland team for game one. A few surprise omissions. Obviously, Cameron Munster not available. I think Dearden was the front runner ahead of Ezra Mam to take the 6 jersey. But then, you know, I think it was clear where New South Wales were going to go. So to see the bench of Queensland feature Selwyn Cobbo and Ben Hunt is...
Harry Grant.
Oh, sorry, Harry Grant and Selwyn Cobbo is a shock to have a genuine outside back on the bench. Now, I know in a number of games, outside backs have gone down in State of Origin and it forces that reshuffle. But this puts a lot of pressure on the 3 Cs of Collins, Cotter and Carrigan, the 3 middles that are going to start that game.
Yeah. Well, we've seen that Cotter can go 80. He's done it, and he's done it in multiple positions in Origin. He's done it in back row, and he's done it in lock. He's played 80 minutes there. But just, like, I guess can he do the 80 minutes at the intensity that you need to against
that
arguably the biggest good side New South Wales have had in a long time? And like these, like Hopgood is not a very big man.
No.
And like all these players deserve to be there, but it just like the matchup just seems pretty tough. You've lost Tino. That's a big boy that you're missing.
Flegler and Gilbert.
And you haven't gone with Fafita as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just you never can not back a Queensland side. And you can never not back a team that Billy Slater's coaching, because
I wonder if they'll bring Kafusi in.
I just spoke to him before this. He's
the 18th man, but I don't know if they'll make a switch.
I don't know what's going on, but the Queensland, we're already doubting them. That's what they do. They got this ability Felice is stoked due to, I think the RLPA have since got the 18th man gets full match payment now. I just spoke to him.
You happy about that?
I think Coach Billy Slater's looking after Felice and old teammates' kids. So well done, Billy. I'm sure little Orlando will love the new nappies. But yeah, she's a tough old game. This one.
Yeah, it's gonna, like, those three players in particular, Collins, Cotter, Carrigan. That it's a big workload for those guys. The other forwards, the edges are Nanai, and the other back row is Jaden Sewer. Then the other forwards on the bench that they've got, Mo Fodawaker and Jermaine Hopgood. Like, those guys are going to be in for a big night because that's where they're going.
Yeah. Like you've got Ben Hunt in there. He's a 7. He's going to be making a lot of.
Yeah, but you forget Ben Hunt he's not
a dummy half.
Dummy half, is he? Yeah.
Although he's bloody good in Origin.
Yeah, he is. Oh no, look, he'll be sweet.
He's just a footballer, that fella. I wonder if you'll see him play a bit of the lock role. Harry Grant comes in just to take a bit of pressure off those forwards. Because he can play the block role. It's just at one point in the game you could have Harry Grant, Ben Hunt, Jermaine Hopgood on at the same time.
Yeah, it's not the biggest.
And Ruben Cotter.
Yeah, that's not the biggest middle, is it?
Nah.
The thing with Ben Hunt, what he can do is his kicking game out of dummy half.
Yeah.
Is expert level, and just you know they're going to get bashed up, but one of his kicks and then a strong kick chase can just completely turn the momentum of the game. So I reckon that's something that Coach Billy Slater will have in the back of his mind when he's looking at where this game may go and some of the potential positions that Queensland might find themselves in. I think Ben Hunt's kicking game, along with Cherry Evans' kicking game, is going to be vital. Obviously, Luai taking the 7 role, like he's a good kicker, but not like an amazing kicker of the game. Matt Burton's yardage kick is unbelievable.
The best in the game.
Yeah, like for distance. So it's going to be an interesting battle how that all works in the halves. But just every year State of Origin comes along and it gets talked about for weeks and weeks and weeks.
I love
now
it.
It's like
my favourite time of the year.
Genuinely starting to get excited.
Aside from off season.
Genuinely starting to get excited about next Wednesday. Like it's going to be awesome. It really is. It's going to be a great game. Like you can see and make a strong, like you're talking about Tedesco and Edwards, make a strong case for Queensland and make a strong case for New South Wales. It's going to be an amazing game, and big congratulations to all the players that are picked, and bring it on next Wednesday. On to we'll look back at the weekend, a few of the weekend's games, Cheese, and a few of the incidences coming out of that. The Titans' performance against the Broncos, that's one of the craziest games I've seen in a long time. Brisbane just did not want to put
It was a ping pong match.
They just did not want to put them away. That Keeney kid who played fullback for the Titans was absolutely unbelievable when you think they've got Brimson, they've got Campbell in there as well that play fullback. Like they're spoilt for choice there, so they've got some big decisions to make. But with the number of players that the Titans had sat in the stand, like that was a fantastic performance.
It had a little Des Hasler. Like the last few games Titans have started playing, you can smell Des Hasler all over those games, can't you? Like winning the messy ones and just fighting, and it's good signs. And if you're a Titans supporter, I think like there's a lot of positive things that are coming out of the last few weeks. I mean, when you get a new coach, the first sort of 4 weeks aren't going to be pretty. Like you're changing your whole, I guess, game plan, your whole culture of the club, and it takes a while to buy into it. But with these players missing and the injuries they have, I feel like they are doing such a good job.
Yeah. Well, when teams have lots of players missing and they still have an ability to stay in a contest, what it says is the system is working and the players are getting and understanding the system. I had my reservations about the Titans when the season started, but since round 6, they lost by a point against the Raiders. They lost by 4 against the Seagulls. They beat the Warriors by 3. They lost by 2 against the Storm. They beat the Cowboys by 2. They lost by 4 against the Knights, and they beat the Broncos by 2. So, like, they're staying in every contest, and it takes, like, I know how hard Des works his players, but it takes so much. I keep waiting. I thought yesterday we were going to see, like, they'll run out of energy, but it's just off the back of a strong preseason, and they're staying in the contest each and every week, no matter the circumstances. So since round 6, that's some huge efforts.
And it's, in my opinion, it's sort of a blessing that they're missing these players, because when you have superstars in your team, and your team, you've got a team of that people aren't big names in the game, you sort of, as a player, you'll rely on those players to make the things happen.
Yeah.
Whereas if those players are missing, like, you've got to work together to achieve the goal. You can't just go, oh, we'll chuck Tino the ball.
Yeah.
You get some ruck speed, teams know that Tino's going to get the ball to try and do something. And I feel like now the Titans are playing together. They're fighting together, and it's not relying on just Tino or Fafita or, you know, someone to do something. It's everyone's buying into the system, and obviously their record's still pretty shit else, but I think it's positive signs. You named about 4 or 5 top 8 teams that they've lost to by less than 6 points.
Mate,
and then they've just beat the Broncos, who they've got players missing, but they're a great side. They had Reece Walsh back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a grand final made side. Arguably should have won the grand final, and you got the points over them. That's
the Broncos will be filthy though.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely filthy.
Yeah.
That Carapani could have passed to Oates. Like, one of the worst passes I've ever seen. No, like, he had a great game, but there was a chance in that second half, like one of the worst passes you'll ever see. And the Broncos, they didn't look interested in defending. To start the game, the first 2 kick receives of Reece Walsh, like, he runs over to Beau Fermor's side and absolutely, like, just lights up the field. And I think that the Broncos just thought it's going to be an easy afternoon. Yeah. And it wasn't.
You can fall into the trap.
You can fall into that trap.
Mate, Melbourne Storm, when I played for Melbourne, mate, we fell into the trap against Titans all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and we put them. I put them away once with Storm. The rest of them were ding dongs.
Yeah,
and it's just
they do, and it's hard to describe, because all the messaging all week is about, we want to be clinical, we want to be professional. Like, you know, we're not going to get dragged down to their level, and it's not. But sometimes what can happen in those situations is unusual opportunities present themselves. So you force an offload, or you force a pass, or you overthink it and you play short when you should play out the back. And I don't know, it was a strange performance from the Broncos yesterday.
Yeah.
But what won that, you know, from a Broncos perspective, hopefully doesn't catch them out for a top 4 or maybe top 2. But it was great to be at that ground yesterday. I think there was like over 40,000 people there. Sunday afternoon, 2:00 game. Brisbane have to get more of that. And you know what? I've got to give credit, because Reece Walsh at the end of the game, they lost, and he went and did sort of a lap, and him and Ezra Mam, there were so many people that were there to see those superstars.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think after a loss, your head can go, and he had his daughter on the field as well. It was pretty cool to see that, like, the impact that he's having on a city, and that he'd be hurting after that loss, and he's going to be away from Brisbane for a while. But for him to make time to go and see the fans, they were all calling for him to come over, but he just couldn't. Otherwise, he never would have left.
Yeah, there's no surprise he's one of the faces of NRL at the moment.
It was
It's a
great
gorgeous
to see.
face too.
He's not bad, even with the scar. Mate, your game against the Raiders, comfortable victory in the end, but I want to ask you about the penalty try. Luke Keary, touched by Smithies. Do you reckon it was?
Nah. I don't reckon,
You don't think it was a penalty try?
I don't think it was a penalty try. But I'll take it. I don't think it was a penalty try. Like, I'll take a penalty. I don't care. But like, at the end of the day, he had the opportunity to put the ball down and dropped it. Like,
Yeah.
that's like, as I'm talking about my own team, so I don't want to say too much. But like, he got to the ball with no one around. I think they can pull it back for a penalty.
Well, I thought about this, and I think from both situations there, so you've either got penalty try or you've got penalty and Morgan Smithies gets sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes because it's a professional foul. I'd rather.
And we're not using common sense, right?
But based off the situation
it was
of the
one of
game,
those.
I'd rather have play against 12 for 10 minutes and
so
then
would
probably score than get a penalty try.
Yeah, I'd rather play against 12 as well.
Because you actually get more of an advantage in that situation.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the team's got to play against 12. So your team's got to play with 12 for 10 minutes. You're likely going to concede anyway. I think I'd rather see Morgan Smithies get sent from a personal
from
point
my
of view. If
point
you're
of view,
playing for the Roosters,
I'd much like we had a sort of meeting about this last year. It was talking about what would you rather, and everyone sort of said rather play 12 men to get a penalty try.
Obviously, if it's like at the end of the game, you want the penalty try, but
yeah. But it's a tough. That's a tough call because, he got to the ball no problem, and he just half butchered it. It's weird because he's built so low to the ground. Old Kazee, nice and short man. He should have just got that. But oh well.
You might not have been across this game because it was on the same day you played, but the match of the round or the build up to that, the Penrith Panthers went to Cronulla Sharks. Sharks passed the test against the Storm in Melbourne. The Roosters in Magic Round. Okay, we're going to play the back-to-back champions at home. No Cleary. Didn't quite go to plan.
Yeah, I watched the last 20 minutes, but I didn't really get to see all of it. I watched the highlights, but
the game was over in 10 minutes for me.
It was. They're just so fucking good at their system.
Yeah.
We were talking about Gold Coast and their system, and it's like any player that goes down, next one comes up, and that means your system's working. Well, they're missing a few people. They're missing Nathan Cleary. Arguably one of the best.
Taylor May's out.
Taylor May, arguably one of the best players.
Yeah.
And, mate, they signed Isaiah Papali'i. That is a great signing.
It is.
That is a great signing. He's if you have a look at his performances when he played for Parramatta, probably been a bit different with the new halves and that. But
yeah, we're going to touch on the Tigers in a bit. With obviously I reckon that game with Penrith, they had it won in 10 minutes. James Fisher-Harris, they were going set for set. Katoa makes the error. James Fisher-Harris just takes advantage of Kennedy staying on his line, not coming forward off the line first, and then going into cover defense mode. He just stayed. He was planted. Fisher-Harris over the top, and then they scored again. Penrith don't give up leads. They were 12-0 up after 10 minutes. Katoa then makes another error, and Alamotti scores off the base of the scrum. It's Luai again took advantage, big step. That was the second try. It was over.
And it was a statement, man.
Yeah, and the crowd just silence.
It was a statement to the whole of the NRL. We're still the champ.
Well, mate, after they lost against the Warriors, I was like, ooh. Ooh,
Yeah, you seen the headlines, Penrith showing cracks.
Yeah, maybe.
They go out.
Maybe.
But I think, you can't, like, they're beatable, but just not the way the Sharks try to play them.
No, it was a big win for the Penrith Panthers, especially going into Origin. So, yeah, bit shit for the rest of the comp, but they've set the standard. And obviously with Nathan likely being out of State of Origin, that only makes it harder. Believe it. Well, I think people would recognise that he'll be fit and firing come finals time. So
it's great. I've seen him. He goes to all the games, even the away ones.
He should. Well, I would as well.
You'd fly to Brisbane.
Fuck yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
as long as it wasn't going to make my injury worse, I reckon.
Nah, yeah, I just, like, I seen him at Magic Round. I seen him at the airport. And, I think he's got a bit of a coaching role there.
Well, he's so influential.
Yeah.
So influential. A couple of hip drops, South Sydney, Latrell Mitchell.
Is there any backlash from these? Like, has the match review committee come out and given them...
They've fined Latrell and fined Holmes. I just... There's a couple of things that... There's a lack of consistency. So I think there was an Offa Hengawi hip drop that was just put on report and not Simbin. Clemmer. I just don't... Well, I do understand what's going on. But mate, from a playing perspective, if you go through the line, how... You basically... If you play that power game and you burst through, you're going to get your legs... Well, your legs are going to be compromised, right?
Yeah, like we were talking off camera before. I was saying there was one time on the game just gone with Canberra where I made a slight like dent in the line. I don't know who it was, but they were hanging off the left side of me, and I felt that they were going to sit on my legs because you can just feel it. You know when it's going to happen because you're running this way and you're going to fall backwards. And there's only one way you're falling back is they drop their weight. But, like, instead of trying to play for it, I thought the best thing for my team at the time is if I play this ball quickly.
Yeah.
So, like, he made a tiny contact. It didn't really hurt. But because I knew that, my team would, like, it was only, like, second play. So we stopped the whole game, reset their defensive line for a penalty. Like, I just played the ball, and like it probably happens 2 times a game to most players. Like, if
you play with such a aggressive like power game, low to the ground, go through the line.
Yeah.
If you'll come through me, like I'm naturally holding on to you, and I'm just going to do my best to drag you down.
Yeah.
I think the hip drop penalty and it was outlawed from the game was to. For me, it was more to stop the standing tackle and players using it to take the opposition player to the ground when standing, not when players get themselves through the line, like you often do when you take you run from dummy half.
The one example I'd say is when the Luke Galvin one. Do you remember that one? Is it Galvin? The Tigers guy. We got 2 weeks. That's a bad hip drop. Like, that's when you're holding on to someone and you just drop.
Well, Patrick Carrigan on Hastings a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
That stationary tackle, hip drop, boom. Like,
but the ones where they're breaking the line and you're just holding on and you lose your legs, like, you're not really dropping your...
No, you're not dropping.
You're dropping your head. You're just trying to put the weight down. And I think
you're almost anchoring as a defender. You're holding on, and then you're anchoring yourself, pulling them to the ground.
Yeah, using your weight as strength, and it's a tough one. But I don't think Latrell Mitchell's deserve to be a 10 in the bin, especially with the other ones that went on. Like, his one was a genuine try-saving opportunity, and he didn't. He just got. Like,
Holmes was the same.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what's happening is there's a big amount of shithousery in the NR with some of the players that are as soon as they feel any contact with their lower limb, they are going to the ground and playing that game of cat and mouse. So it pisses me off where players are playing the game of I'm going to feign an injury and then get the player simbin. For me, it shouldn't be happening. Or playing, or staying down, feigning injury, and saying, "I want a penalty." Yeah. So the way to rub it out, I think, if you go down for an injury and the player gets simbined, or that your team get a penalty, you have to leave for a 10-minute injury assessment. Because if you've gone down and you can't play the ball, you have to leave for a 10-minute injury assessment, and your players will stop because no one wants to be embarrassed by going off and just going, "I'm fine." You've got to be off for 10 minutes. It's going to affect your team if you're one of the key playmakers in that side. Yeah, it's gone beyond the joke, and it's ruining the game. It's ruining the spectacle. I hate to see a regular round game being decided or influenced by a player, in my opinion, clearly feigning an injury to the lower leg. Yeah. It's pissing me off, and it's pissing everyone off.
It's weird, eh? When these NRL crack down on these rules, you seem to see them so much more like... Like, you know, I know it's a crackdown, but like the amount of injuries that you think are coming from them.
Well, even the some of the situations that a crusher tackle ends up. And look... An actual crusher tackle is beyond dangerous and can result in permanent neck nerve damage, which nobody wants to see. So again, if you're in that situation and you want to take advantage of the rules, the NRL they set the environment, and the referees and the bunker. And I understand why they want these tackles out of the game, but if a player's going to fake it, they've got to go for a 10-minute injury assessment. So if you go down in a crusher and you manipulate the position and you feel a little pinch in your neck, it better be bad enough for you to leave for 10 minutes. Yeah. Otherwise, you just crack on and play the ball. Yeah. No, our game is better than that, in my opinion. Like we as players are better than that. But I understand when you're playing why you would stay down. I get that, but you just got to not allow it or penalise or de-incentivize staying down. Yeah, it's not. I totally get why some players would do it. They feel a touch to their leg and they go down because they know their team will be advantaged. We have this mentality of like win at almost all costs. Yeah. So as long as I get the win, I don't really give a shit how we got it. Yeah, morals out the window. Yeah, like some players, some teams kick early, and now are you kicking early to win the game? Yeah, but so what? We win. Boyd Cordner
is a massive advocate for not laying down.
Some teams...
Jared, same thing. Like, if he remotely senses that you're going to get the fuck up.
Yeah. And rightly so.
I think it sends a message, too. It's like, no matter what you do, like, we're just going to fucking play through it.
Yeah. Well...
Head in the head. Head in the head, don't play for a penalty. Like, unless it bloody... hurt.
Unless you're actually genuinely injured, stop staying down. And the only way to do that is bring in mandatory 10-minute injury assessments. It'll stop it. It's completely solvable. Like, there's plenty of other sports out there where players clearly feign injuries and have that shithousery where they roll around and you'd think that they've been shot and then all of a sudden they're back up, miracle recovery. Like, it's annoying. People don't want that. Like, it's not even crept in our game. It's been around for a long time, but those two hip drops, no one wants to see anybody hip dropped. Yeah. But if you're not injured, don't stay down. And that's the way to stop it. Big win for the Bulldogs against the Dragons. They were clearly suffering after Jack Baird went off, but with a genuine injury. I thought he'd snapped his ankle. Yeah, thankfully, just to Sydney Osmosis, a few people were into him, saying he was carrying on. First bloke to get the green whistle for a Sydney Osmosis, but that it really affected the Dragons.
Yeah, asked for it already.
Do it.
Mate, pain.
The Dragons just, as soon as they made that switch with Eisenhuth playing in the centres there. They were just, the Bulldogs just completely switched from using their strong, their go-to side, the left attack, and they switched it to the right because I felt for the Dragons because I thought their first half was actually really good.
But I thought the game. I watched the game. I thought the game was like an unreal game, and then when Birdie went off, it was. I've never seen I probably haven't seen a most dominant performance from a team in a second half.
Yeah.
In a while. It was. Geez, it was bad. But credit to the Bulldogs. A few years ago, I don't think they do that. I don't think, you know what I mean? I think Crichton had a big part to play in that. I think, as a captain and Purden, they've just looked at the side and gone, this is where we got to go. And they went there and they did not get bored of it. They did it the whole time. You know, when you start scoring tries and you get real loose and you just throw the ball around, they didn't do that. They just went straight at that edge the whole time.
Well, arguably what happened...
And it's a great sign for the Bulldogs because it shows a mature and well-led team.
But that's arguably what the Broncos did. They got bored of going to their left, where Bo Fermo was playing in the centres, and they had that big reshuffle, and they kind of got bored of it. But yeah, credit to the Bulldogs. I think Kickout reportedly out for 4 to 6 weeks with a hand injury, which is devastating for everybody concerned with the Dogs. Just quickly, bit of news that has broken over the past sort of 24 hours. The Tigers again, they were poor. It's a very difficult situation that they're in. But it was reported in the Telegraph today in Buzz Rothfield's spotted section that Benji Marshall, now the Tigers have a bye, but he was spotted going on a family trip to Fiji in the bye as a coach. Now, Benji came under scrutiny for his coaching methods, or not coaching methods, coaching philosophy around he was questioned whether he was the hard-working coach, the 24/7 coach. And he sort of backed himself, and there was some better performances at the start of the season. But I think the Tigers have lost 7 in a row now. They've got the bye.
They'll win that one.
They'll get the 2 points for that. But what do you reckon of him, of your head coach going away on a holiday?
I don't really care at all. As a player, I don't care.
That's fair. Yeah, I understand why you'd say that, but I'm just going to read you the list of coaches because there's a fair few on the bye this week. Seabold at Manly, Hasler at Gold Coast, Hornby at Souths, Walters at Brisbane, Bellamy at Melbourne, Webster at Newcastle, Marshall at the Tigers. Now, so there's 2, 4, 6, 7. 6 of those coaches, in my opinion, won't be going away.
Not to Fiji. I know Belzer he'll go straight to Coolangatta every time, every bye.
He would be.
He'll work there though, but he every single break we get. When I was at Storm, every single break, Belzer would go to Gold Coast, and I don't know, not family holiday, but he would go to Gold Coast because his grandchildren live there. So Poppy. And his daughter lives there, Rach, and he spends most of the time there. But the way Bellamy is as a person, he works. He'll go on holidays, but he'll take his laptop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But also, the Melbourne Storm would always be in the hunt for playoffs.
Yeah.
Where Tigers are in the hunt for a 3rd consecutive wooden spoon.
Yeah,
and they've obviously got a lot going on at the club with Shane Richardson in England, either trying to acquire players or move some players to the Super League. The optics of it don't look great. The narrative of it doesn't look great. Yeah, like you say, Bellamy would head up to Gold Coast, but no one makes an issue of it because it's Bellamy and
Hasler, what's he doing?
No, mate. Mate, you know what? When we were at the Dogs, we'd get a bye. And we'd train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and half day Friday. And we'd only find out about the half day Friday at Friday lunchtime. Like, no joke. We
I shan't be going to the Titans anytime soon.
We'd find out that other teams would get like this week off in the bye, and we'd be like, "What? You get time off?" But Des would be like, "Well, you've got the weekend off, and I'd give you a half day on a Friday." It's like, "Fucking hell, Des, we have to make plans. We didn't know until Friday that we had the Friday afternoon off." There was sometimes we'd go away into like a mini camp.
Oh, perfect.
There'd be a few drinks involved as well. But like, if we actually had a bye at home, we would be mini preseason style, and Des was not going away in the bye. And when the weekend the players were off, he was wheeling and dealing. He was looking at tape. He was watching all the other games. Like, it's different because I think Benji has a younger family. But look, he's in charge of his own destiny.
Yeah.
But
I get what you're saying.
It's going to be criticised because the Tigers are playing awful. They don't. It's hard to see where their next victory is going to come. Yeah. And the fluff of but you've got to balance and all this. Well, in coaching, most coaches don't have balance in their life. They are all in. They are the 25-8 coach.
Yeah.
Not 365. Like, it consumes them. And Benji spoke that he is hardworking, but he has balance. And unfortunately for in the industry that we're in, when we look and the coaching and the fans and the emotion of sport, it is going to come under criticism.
Yeah. Well, I think Robbo sort of encourages us to go away.
The players?
But do the players... So say, because we're in a decent spot, I think we're 6th or 5th or something like that. Like, do the players get a bad rep if they go to Fiji? Say Api Kurosawa didn't make the New South Wales side. Like, is it reflected the same on him if he was taking his family to...
Well, I think it's different. But yeah, I think... Bradman Best got criticised for going to Bali last year.
There you go.
Like the Newcastle boys.
Remember,
Newcastle boys
made a plan to go to Bali, and they were under the pump.
Yeah.
Come back after Bali and killed it.
Yeah, they did, yeah. James Tedesco was criticised for being allowed to go and take some time away.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe that perception is wrong, but when you've got your head coach going away on a family holiday in the bye, like, people are well within their rights to be like, mate, you need to be sorting out the mess that is the Tigers.
Yeah.
Like, getting away from that isn't going to solve anything. It might mentally refresh you, but people people at the Tigers wanted results yesterday.
Yeah. Like, in my personal opinion, as a player, like, I don't really give a... I wouldn't give a flying F if my coach went. But also, I would care if my team sucked.
Yeah, yeah, and they do.
Hey, my team doesn't.
So anyway, I guess there will be more fallout from this. It's impossible for it not to be. Just on the Parramatta job, they've yet to get a coach. The shortlist doesn't really appear to be leaked. It seems like there's like 8 to 10 different candidates of who could potentially take over, from Demetrio to Michael Checker, Michael Innes,
Jason
Riles. Like, I'm probably forgetting a few.
Madge.
Well, Madge is the one that makes me think, because nothing has been... Because there's no... Usually in these situations, a list of about 3 or 4 players, 3 or 4 candidates will be leaked to the media, and that's on the shortlist. Because that hasn't happened, it makes me think, I wonder if they've made contact with Madge, and just like the secretive nature of the Wayne Bennett pursuit was kept under wraps, whether or not they've gone to Maguire and they want Maguire and they've locked it in, but he doesn't want anything said before Origin.
You're a conspiracy theorist. Well done.
No, I'm well because
Putting the dots together. I see what you're doing.
because it's unusual. So whenever unusual things happen, or like I stand by the comments about Wayne Bennett, and I thought he was going to power last week because there's too many red flags, and sometimes when there's enough red flags, you got to think, well, something fishy's going on here. And there's not
So
enough.
is he signed, sealed, delivered?
Who?
Wayne.
At South, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's locked in at South, but the Parramatta job is still up in the air with no shortlist announced, no leaking of this is the favourite. Like Slater was linked. Yeah. So I reckon it wouldn't surprise me to see Madge take it over, but maybe I'm just tossing it up anyway, putting it out there. Cheese. It's time for our questions from the listeners. First one from Carl Swanson: is Brandon Smith in Brandon Smith's fantasy team?
No.
Who's your fantasy hooker?
My fantasy hooker? I'll have a look.
You mean you don't know?
Nah, it's Harry Grant. He's my captain as well.
Is he?
Yep. No,
You have to make some changes, aren't you, for round Origin?
Yeah. I've actually half
Put
given up.
yourself in.
I've half given up because I had Ryan Pappenhausen, Tom Trebojevic, Kalen Ponga.
Well, yeah, you've clearly.
You know what I mean? Like,
you've got some issues to address there, don't you?
I had Jaden Campbell as well. So I'm basically what we call in the industry fucked.
All right, well,
then I had Sean Johnson.
Yeah, well, you got
Tommy Flegler. Yeah, mate.
You've given up a long time ago.
My team, you're only allowed to make 2 changes a week. So when you lose 3, your biggest players,
Yeah.
no luck.
Charlene Christian, does Origin still belong in the middle of the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I'm the same. I think it's the lesser of any evils. Like, it's not ideal, but you can't really move it.
Yeah, I like it.
People say at the end of the season, they did that in COVID. It didn't really have the same effect.
No.
And we've got international football at the end of the season we should look to promote. So maybe that you could look at pausing the season, but again, I think we'd lose the impact. Linky, would you rather... Oh, hang on. No. Iron_horse. Would you rather be able to converse with animals or speak every language? Speak every language.
Would you rather... Yeah, speak every language would be awesome.
Like, speaking to animals would be... I don't know.
I don't assume they'd be smart either.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you wouldn't be able to...
My cat would just say food.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't be able to understand them anyway because, like, their whole world is different. Oh, yeah.
Speaking every language would be sick.
It would be pretty good. I mean, you could probably be able to do that with AI now anyway. It wouldn't be that difficult. There'll be AI out there.
Speaking, what are you going to say to an animal? Crocodile, don't eat me. No, I won't. Sweet.
Yeah. Do you mind if I just...
You mind if I just...
this waterway with you? Yeah.
Yeah, go for it, go for it. I won't do anything, trust me.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you what, I'll sort you out with something. I'll throw some, don't know, some food in for you. Just let me have a swim. Yeah, what would you say to an animal anyway? Like, unless you were a vet.
What's going on? Oh, me liver's gone.
Like,
what's going on, mate? Nah, me liver's fucked. I've been on the piss all week.
there's his legs still sore. I've been fucking chasing shit around in the garden all day. Probably gonna have to stop, you know. I know, but just sort of it's instinct, I see a bird, fucking just go. Yeah, we're just gonna have to rest up on that leg, all right? Just bark at your owner 3 times for ice, and if you want, actually, fucking, instead of speaking to animals, I want to speak to the animal owners, the pet owners. Pick your dog shit up.
No, he can speak to the dog. Oi, what are you doing? Can't shit there, mate.
Pick Pick your dog shit up. You know what? Like, we talk about government tracking people and everyone having identity cards and all this stuff, right? I reckon if you own a dog, it should be linked. Yeah, you should have to give the dog's DNA to a police force, so it's on file. And I would happily go around and if people scrape people's dog shit up, put it into a thing, the DNA gets tested, it gets matched to the owner, and then that owner gets fined. Pick your dog shit up, you lazy bastards. If you want a pet, if you want a dog, pick your shit up. It is pissing me off. Anyway, but that's I'm a problem solver.
Good day, Charlie White. It's Senior Constable here. Bob. Mate, your dog shit's been
Yeah, your
dog shit's been found down the road at Paddington, mate. You're in a lot of strife.
If your dog's DNA in the shit is recorded, that should be people's job. But your pet should be linked to you. In order to have a pet, you don't need a pet license. You need to register its DNA with the government. And
I see what you're saying. We could create some jobs here.
Easy.
Because, mate, people go around putting parking tickets up. Now they're going to go around picking up dog shit.
All you'd need is a swab. Little swab of the shit. Pop it in. DNA. Boom. Registered with this owner. You're getting fined, you lazy prick. There you go. Talk to animals. You've set me off. Whoever asked that question.
That was pretty
on
nice.
the walk to school this morning.
Yeah, it's not the worst idea in the world.
Mate, you know what? I'm a thinker. 10-minute mandatory injury assessment for anyone that stays down for more than 1 second. And every dog owner has to have their DNA sample sent and it's registered. Anyway, that'll do us for jam and cheese. Enjoy the weekend, cheese. Who have you got this week?
Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
Should be good.
There.
Thanks
for joining us. We'll catch everyone next week.